Big Sales. You people are ridiculous. Let me start off with that. You people are ridiculous. Now, I know this will only last a couple minutes because we're going to get knee deep into some stuff. But I do want to thank you guys for all the get well wishes for my wife. She's resting. She's comfortable. It's all good. Thank you. Really, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, man. Really. Hey, just so you guys know, hey, Sills, hope everything went. Thank you, Joshua. Okay. Thank you, guys. You guys, hey, man, listen. I know you guys can only go for about 3 minutes on this without going. Well, this is not why I tune in here. Diego, thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, dude, I get this message, so check it out. Guys, thank you. Listen, I drop her off at the hospital right before the show. I'm humming and hawing. I get a text message while I'm talking to Tone. Right? Yep, the wife's all good, Max. And, she goes, hey, look, I'm going down to ER. Come to the room where I'm at right now when your show's done. I'm like, man, I can't do that. What kind of dickhead am I? So I stopped it. And, hey, thank you, Big Joe and Xander. I appreciate it. Tone and everybody and all the stuff. I really, it means a lot. And I'm going to stop here in a minute because we're going to get into the trash talking here in a minute. I stick my head into the room. She's like, well, thank you for coming. And I'm like, man, after 35 years, really? You do it for me. So, yeah. So we got everything taken care of, and she's at home. She's going to have some physical therapy, but looks like it's going to be all good, man. God's good. It was good yesterday. And I couldn't wait. And many of you guys were awesome sending me DMs and shit like that. And okay, enough of this. Yeah, Mrs. Big Sills is doing good. Now let's get back to business here. I'm in a good mood. Don't make me into a gimp. Okay? Don't turn me into a gimp. All right? We're going to get into trash. By the way, the trash talking is just sensational for Sunday. I cannot wait for this thing. Nick Bosa, you blew it, dude. You had a chance to talk shit on people. Okay? Boy, are the Niners crying. Man, but dude, you got a lot of checks to cash Sunday. You got a lot of checks to cash. You're talking all kinds of shit, dude. You better cash in. I can't wait for this. Hey, by the way, let's do this here. How many people think this thing's going to be a 40 million viewed game on Sunday? What'd you get for that Buffalo game? 25 million? Did you get 25 million? I want angry sales. Thanks, Maniac. You think you're going to get like 39 million for this thing on Sunday? Oh, 40 plus, Tony? I think this thing. Oh, and by the way, I am so with AJ Brown. Eagle fans that watch the show that are going to the link, ruin them. You have Big Sills permission. You got under the skin of the Bills. You have complete permission to undress those men. Eagles and Bills received 30 million. Bills Eagles on CBS Sunday became the most watched non-Thanksgiving. Look at Tone throw the non-Thanksgiving. See what he did there? That's a shot at the Cowboys. See, Tone? He ain't that smart when it comes to all kinds of gimmick. How you get around that without throwing subtle shots at people? He just threw a shot at the Cowboys. Tone, you can't pull that shit on Big Sills. I know what you did there. Look what he wrote. He just wrote this. Bills-Eagles on CBS Sunday became the most watched non-Thanksgiving game of the NFL season. Oh, you mean you're not counting the 44 million on Turkey Day? All right. Technically, he's right. Technically, he's right. Okay. Oh, I think this thing on Sunday is going to get monster ratings. By the way, this is going to be a trilogy. This is like Ali Frazier. You've already taken Ali 1. You've taken Ali Frazier 1. This is the most important one for the Niners. They got to even the score here. And it's really not even the score because you know why? You kind of get an extra kind of kick in the, in the meaningful game column because it was the NFC title. So if the Niners beat you, okay, it's kind of the same thing what the Eagles did to the Chiefs. Hey, at the end of the day, that Chiefs-Eagles game, you guys are happy you won the game. But doesn't it get in your crawl that it wasn't the Super Bowl instead of a regular season game? I don't know what you think about that, but for me, oh, you won the regular season game, but the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Okay. Hey, I didn't mean, hey, look at here. Here we are again, right? But that's reality. Damn, man. Come on, Sills. The Chiefs win was good. Oh, I'm not saying it's not. But it's not the Super Bowl. So that's what the Niners are facing here. They beat you. Say they beat you. They're a little more healthier than you. They're coming off a bye. San Francisco has everything in their column. Everything in their column. No excuses for San Francisco. Okay? No excuses. By the way, just to throw a little more shade on your Eagles from the national media, Skip Bayless said today, you're the most overrated 10-1 team in the league. And you're fraudulent. Actually, the word was fraudulent, 10-1. You're a fraudulent 10-1 team. That statement alone is idiotic. Hey, watch this. You're a fraudulent Super Bowl champion. You're a fraudulent 10-1. We're the only 10-1 team. Try again, Skip. Hey, no. He says it's fraudulent. It's a fraudulent 10-1. You're frauds. You're frauds. I'm like, I listened to that and I tweeted that out immediately because I went, you're a fraudulent 10-1. How's that possible? When you've beaten the type of teams that you've beaten. I mean, I thought Keyshawn Johnson was going to reach across the table and smack him. I tell you, Richard Sherman, I love because Richard Sherman just goes, hey, Skip, don't worry. This won't mean anything because you get to the playoffs, you get bounced in the opening round, and you guys can again talk about 2024. Richard Sherman is so right. He goes, I don't give it. That's all you can count is regular season wins because you can't count postseason wins. I had a guy on Twitter actually say to me this about you guys winning one Super Bowl. You see, the 49ers and the Cowboys and the Steelers have a great history. And I said, that's all you're selling these days because you're not selling the present. How many playoffs? I guarantee you, Skip Fraudulent was the better. Hey, I get it. Undisputed was the yes. Warrior. Do you know that the Philadelphia Eagles have won more playoff games than every team in the NFC East since 2000 combined? Do you know that? They've won more playoff games than all the other NFC East teams combined since 2000. I mean, the Cowboys can't sell you anything but their history. Same with the Steelers. And same with the Niners. Dude, I think the Niners are a good team. I really do. All right. I want to make a statement before we go on to our topics of the day. By the way, I didn't get a chance to get to my top 10 teams, top 10 quarterbacks. CBS came out with their list. I got a whole bunch of topics. Mark Farzetta's going to join us. That'll be at 4:30 Eastern. I appreciate him redoing his schedule for us because of what happened yesterday. So thank you. The segment with Tone will be with us at 3:30. I'm going to make a statement here about Jaylen Hurts. I'm starting to believe that Jaylen Hurts is the most underrated quarterback / player in the NFL. He is the most underrated player in the NFL. Underrated. He is the most underrated, some would say underappreciated player in the league because they can't quantify how he gets it done. They can't figure it out. So they use the words fraudulent, lucky. They're hanging on by a thread. It's the only way you can combat what he's doing. If 10-1 is lucky and fraudulent, I'll take that cup of soup every day. And guys, every time someone says that to you, you should laugh. You're 20-2 in the regular season. From a year ago to this point this year, you're 20-2. There's nothing lucky about that. That's nothing lucky. You know what luck is? I'll show you what luck is. You know how 1 year that giveaway, takeaway. Here's what even shows you more that you're not lucky. What was the one thing you did last year that was incredible on defense? And most teams lean on this, is giveaway, takeaway. You guys suck on getting turnovers on defense, and you're still 10-1. That stat doesn't apply to you. At one point, Hurts had 3 TD passes and 4 attempts. Who the F does that? I agree. I've only seen that one other time. McMahon did that on a Monday night game against Minnesota once. I saw he threw 3 passes. They were 3 touchdowns. He came in off the bench. He was injured. It was a Monday night game decades ago. I saw him doing that. I've never seen anything like this. I don't think I've ever covered a player that's not driven by stats. And when you look at the numbers, I see how he did it. This is the frustrating thing about covering Jaylen Hurts. You do this. Okay, he didn't play well. You look up, he's got 5 touchdowns. There's like an Emmitt Smith kind of flavor to this. And what I mean by Emmitt, you never saw flashy anything. Jaylen's not flashy. He's not spectacular. But you look up at his numbers and you go, 5 touchdowns, 10-1. They've beaten all those really good teams. How the F is this guy doing this? It's like I said about Emmitt, 9 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards, 4 yards, 1 yard, 3 yards. You look up, he's got 28 carries and 158 yards and 2 touchdowns and a win. And you're like, but he wasn't spectacular. Like here, Jaylen Hurts is like Emmitt, and Mahomes is like Barry Sanders. There's a lot of flash with Mahomes and with Sanders. A lot of flash. Like standout plays. With Emmitt, you're just the all-time leading rusher with 3 Super Bowl championships. And nothing spectacular about him. There's just nothing spectacular about him. Okay? Nothing. And there he is. By the way, Shaq Leonard is in Philly, and he is talking to them. And the pitch is on. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm hoping Leonard tells Frank Reich, and then I'll relay it to you. Okay? That's right. Zach Cunningham is going to miss the game. Would it shock you if the Eagles came in and said, here's an extra $1 million? We need you. Why would you want to go to that? Hey, again, here's my pitch. No. Shaq's not washed up. He's just hurt a lot lately. Okay? He gives you 3 games that helps you win and secure home field, and he can't play in the postseason. You get Cunningham back. It was worth it. It was worth it. Any guy that helps you get home field advantage, just like when Carson Wentz helped you get home field advantage, it's worth it. It's worth it. Okay? You get home field. Shaq Leonard can't play the final 2 games, maybe not even the postseason, but he gave you really a lot of help in the 49er and Cowboy and Seahawks game. Are you all right with that? Yeah. Thank you. See you. Hope you have a great career somewhere else. You think the owner of the Eagles would pay $2 million to a linebacker who helped him get through the 49ers, Cowboys, and Seahawks to secure a home field advantage? Okay? Don't you think he would? It was worth it. I think it'd be worth it. Jaylen Hurts is by far the most underrated player, not quarterback, player in pro football. He is. He's underrated. And you know, some of you will probably look at that and go, there goes Sills throwing shade on Hurts. No, I just think he's underrated for what he does. He wins. Isn't it crazy that people are not putting more of a premium on winning? And they're putting more of a premium on the showcase of a talent of an athlete. People today buy the flash, not the result. People don't buy results anymore. I really don't care how you win a ball game, especially in the NFL. College, it's different. I really don't care how you win a game in the NFL. Just get it done. Win the game. Whatever that looks like. Not everybody's comfortable with that. Shit, your own owner wasn't comfortable with it with Doug Peterson. I think you get this. Do you not agree? Do you not agree that Jeffrey Lurie has also changed along with Howie? Don't you think he's changed? You know why? You don't have them Monday morning meetings anymore. Why is the team struggling in the first half? How come you're only scoring this? How come we're not on all the same page? Don't you think he's learned too? Those nitpicking arguments he used to have with Doug and why Doug was winning games 17-14. I think he's learned a little bit here. Win the game. Win the game. I think this is going to be the highest regular season football game of the year, TV ratings-wise. And if it continues, then to me, the Dallas game will be the most viewed. That thing could have a shot at 50 million people. In an era where television is losing viewers and mainstream TV is not attracting you any longer because of all the options you have. Do you know getting 1 million views or 1 million viewers a week is a big deal for network TV shows? You got NFL football putting up 30 million viewers on any given Sunday. Ratings are growing and going through the roof. Do you know the Ohio State Michigan game? Tone, did you see how many viewers were watching that thing? 20 million people with streaming watch that college football. 20 million watching college football. 20 million. When today, most of these television shows outside of sports, they can't get 1 million viewers. And you're getting 20 million. 20 million watching a college football game. It's insane. This thing on Sunday is going to be through the roof. I mean, the NFL is a juggernaut. Get this, there's nothing on network television or anywhere else in America that are bigger TV stars than football players. I would say politicians. I would say the second most popular people to watch on a weekly basis are politicians. And the first ones are NFL players. Would you agree? Trump's a star. Whether you like him or not. Donald Trump's a TV star. You know why? You talk about him every day on every network. Every day, Trump's brand gets bigger. Why? You're talking shit on him, you're pumping him up. You're talking shit on him, you're pumping him up. This is not a political comment here. This is what people are covering today. And people cover the NFL. They cover the NFL. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. All right, let's get more into the game here. Bunch of topics here. How do you beat the Eagles and how do you beat the 49ers? My top 10 teams, but I want to start it out here. I got a third topic, actually, and I want to go here with it first. There's two men I think that need this game the most on Sunday. One with the 49ers and one with the Eagles. I'll start with Jaylen. All the accolades that you're hearing and all the accomplishments, being underrated. His journey is insane. One day they're going to make a movie. If he wins a Super Bowl, they're going to make a movie about him. There's going to be a documentary about him if he closes the deal. If he doesn't, there won't be. Sometimes you get the egg, sometimes you get the shells. That's sports. All the things he's accomplished, all the things that have led to where he is now in his career, all the pressure he's under, the money, how fast the money came, how fast the exposure came. Most men, I couldn't handle it. When you get a ton of money in your pocket, let me just give it to you this way. When you get a ton of money in your pocket and you become an NFL player, your whole perspective changes on things. You have that FU attitude. You don't care about people around you. You don't care. Not speaking for Jaylen. There's just a narcissist mentality about how you conduct yourself. And maybe I'm talking more about myself. It's not that kid. The money didn't jade him. He's still driven. It's funny, man. I think back on it. Maybe my drive was also diminished because I got the money. That doesn't affect him. I mean, he is just driven for something greater like Brady. Like I always used to say about Brady. Brady is the greatest 1-0 football player I've ever seen. Tom Brady is the greatest 1-0 player of all time. No one's close. And Jaylen is trying to mimic what made Brady great, being a 1-0 quarterback. See, you can never compare someone to Brady because Brady's accomplishments are too overwhelming. His accomplishments are too overwhelming. All you can do is compare his mannerism and his approach and his direction and his journey and path. That's all you could compare Jaylen Hurts to Brady, because at the end of the day, it's a futile conversation to talk about anybody about Tom Brady. He's just an outlier. You can't compare that. But Jaylen is trying to follow that path. Okay? He really is. Okay? He's got to win a Super Bowl to validate everything. You can't validate Jaylen Hurts' money, the regular season wins. You can't. Right now, Jaylen Hurts is not validated. He's not. Some would go like this: Sills, look who he's just beaten. I get it. But don't trip at the finish line now. Jaylen defines the law of nature. Not yet. If this was golf or boxing and it was an individual sport, sure. But it's a team sport, and you got to carry 53 guys with you versus carrying 5 guys with you when you're LeBron. I think it's harder to win a Super Bowl because you got to carry 53 dudes in your locker, something Wentz couldn't do. Shit, if you're an NBA guy, you got Shaq on your team or Kobe or Jordan, you're going to get that done. There's less guys that have to put on your back. Common sense. Is he the MVP? No, not yet. Is he the leader? Probably. Jaylen told everyone he watches Brady film and people didn't understand why. He wants to be the greatest to do it. True Mamba mentality. Hey, General, you know what, too? And all your media assholes called me a liar when I told everyone that he was seen in Southern California 2 years ago with Tom House. Remember that? Some of you that have been following me the whole time, remember that? That I told you because he was seen at Timu Solani's restaurant, and Timu Solani's a friend of mine. And Solani told me that Jaylen Hurts was having dinner with Tom House. You know who Tom House is? That's Brady's throwing coach. That's the guy who helped Brady his entire career. Remember I told you that, and everybody in Philly went, the guy's full of shit. I was the first guy to tell you that. He was working out with Tom House. Okay? Vlad goes, and I pissed on him as well. So did your football team. So did the Eagles. The Eagles didn't believe in him until midway through the 2022 season. You hear this guy? This guy makes it sound like I am the only one. The Philadelphia Eagles didn't buy into him. Okay? They didn't buy into him. That's why they got 2 1s. They were going to go into the draft and draft a quarterback. Just like Jordan Davis. The play changed their mind. So as some of you in here would say, the Eagles flip-flopped on Hurts. And the Eagles flip-flopped on Jordan Davis. Right? Right? Okay. Here's the other guy that needs a Super Bowl. It's Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is being called the greatest coach in the game on play calling, designing offenses, putting teams in positions to win. He's the Jaylen Hurts of coaches. This guy's the greatest. He is right there with everyone. I would debate that he's not better than Sean McVay. Kyle Shanahan is not a better coach than Sean McVay. He is not. There's nothing on his resume that says that. There's nothing on his resume. Nothing on his resume that overpowers Sean McVay's accomplishments. Nothing. Nothing. McVay's 7 years old. Do you know he's been coaching, what is it, 9 years now? How many years has he been coaching? 7? Right? And he's got 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl ring. And he's like 37. Sean McVay is like John Madden. It's insane. What a play call. That guy wins game, right? Hey, get this. They're paying the bills right now for that Super Bowl of a couple of years ago. You're going to take a couple of years of shitty football because they won the Super Bowl. They pushed all their chips in. They went and got Von Miller. They went and got all those guys. They're paying the bills now. Same way the Bucs are paying the bills. There is nobody in the NFC that's a better coach than McVay. You know why? You can have all of Nick Sirianni's regular season wins. I'll take McVay's Super Bowl, 2 NFC titles, multiple division championships. You have nothing to stack up against him except regular season wins. McVay has Super Bowl win, 2 conference title wins. Do you know he is more accomplished than any Eagle coach in history? And he's 37. So when you talk about Sean McVay and you try to talk about Sirianni being better than McVay, he's better than any coach you've ever had in your city. His resume speaks to it. You can't debate it. Can't. Doug didn't win multiple conference titles. He has. Plus a Super Bowl. He's a better coach than Andy Reid ever was in Philadelphia. Would Andy get to 1 Super Bowl? He's been to 2 and won 1. What did Andy do? Oh, yeah. Almost got there. Are you suggesting that you're taking credit for Andy Reid being a Philadelphia coach and you're saying versus a guy that won in LA? He's a better coach than anything you've ever had in your city. My point is championships matter. Postseason resumes matter, not regular season. Mahomes is not gauged any longer on regular season shit. Just like Jordan, it's postseason stuff. Okay? So, end of the day, Kyle Shanahan. Hoss, you got to win a Super Bowl. ESPN Analytics still has the Eagles ranked 7th. Here's my analytics, 10-1. Okay? Here's my analytics. 10-1. Who needs that Super Bowl more, you think? Shanahan or Hurts? Doug's got a statue out front. Doug doesn't have a better resume than McVay. Where? Where on Doug Peterson's resume has he accomplished more than Sean McVay? Where? What are you talking about? You can't point to anything. Nothing. And he even fixed a washed up golf to get him to the Super Bowl where they lost 14-3. They don't have the same resume, Keon. How? He's got 2 NFC championship rings and a Super Bowl ring. How are they even? Oh, anyway, once again, you're not listening and you're lying to yourselves. As always, some of you do. Okay, you want to hear a different narrative. That's not going to happen here. Never will. All right. Moving on from there. Who needs this more? Who needs this more? Kyle Shanahan or Jaylen Hurts? Guys, I am not giving credit to Andy Reid when Andy Reid didn't do anything in Philly. McVay is a superior coach than Andy Reid was in Philly. Superior. Get over yourselves. Multiple Super Bowl appearances in a ring. Get over yourselves. Donald says Hurts. By the way, I think this game on Sunday is going to be there's going to be another element to this, and that'll be in the playoffs. I'm going to tell you why I think Jaylen needs this thing more. Coaches need to have a championship ring behind them to validate their resume. But they could still make it to the Hall of Fame, like Marv Levy or Bud Grant or other coaches that have not won Super Bowls but have made it. Okay? So you can still, like Dennis Green, in my opinion, is a great coach. Okay? He's a great coach. Okay? Great coach. Hall of Fame coach. Like here, take a look at Tony Dungy, for instance. Is Tony Dungy a great coach? Yes. Did the Super Bowl validate him? I think more what he did in Tampa, but the Super Bowl will always validate a coach. Does Dungy get to the Hall of Fame? If Tony Dungy would have went to the Hall of Fame, whether he wins that Super Bowl in Indianapolis or not, because of his work in Tampa. Okay? Because of his work in Tampa and what he did. But it validated him. Coaches have to have that. They really, when you go talking about great coaches, I don't think you really have to have the Super Bowl ring, whether or not you're going to get in. Was Vermeil going to get in if he didn't have that Rams Super Bowl ring? Probably not, because he's a 500 coach. And he had a lot of work to do in places when he went into. A quarterback, when you're being considered like what you guys are revering Jaylen Hurts, and you want to put him in that Mahomes league, he will never be in the Mahomes league until he does Mahomes feats. Because then guess what? There's no excuses. There's no excuses. Rock goes, how is McVay way ahead of Dougie P? I said it, 2 NFC championship rings and a Super Bowl title. That's way ahead. Yeah, and he's 37. Yeah. Doug's got 1 NFC title and 1 Super Bowl. Can you count? Postseason success matters. Jaylen Hurts, what he's doing right now is building equity up with the league, the players, TV networks, the Eagles. He's building all this equity up. Now you got to cash it in, don't you? All this stuff he's done. Here, let me ask you something here. How about this then? Let's do this. Because I think Andy Reid and Jaylen Hurts have a lot in common here, especially the way we're talking here. Did Andy Reid over or underachieve in Philadelphia? All the success he's had, all the success you guys are talking to me about Hurts right now. Did Andy Reid over or underachieve in Philly? Vlad says over. You don't want to ask me that question, says Tone. Under. Anybody with common sense. Hey, Keon, where are you? Oh, here he is. Overachieved. Keon believes Andy Reid overachieved. So you must think that Jaylen Hurts is overachieving right now. When does it get to a point when he's underachieving? When it's over? Has Jaylen Hurts over or underachieved so far? Has Jaylen Hurts over or underachieved? This is a hard question. Daryl says over. This is a hard one. Because you got to remember, there's got to be a point where you're kind of shocked in what he's doing. How about this? Let's go to the beginning of this. Are you shocked where he is in his career in Philly? How about this? Are you shocked where he is in his career? Just plain and simple. Are you shocked? When it comes to Andy, 4 NFC chip appearances, and no Super Bowl win. Underachieved. Jaylen Hurts so far has overachieved. Many thought he would never be here. Okay. When does it get? Okay. So winning the Super Bowl, if he loses another one, or they don't make it, he's still overachieving. Jaylen has overachieved at this point. There is a point, Adam. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl or lose, it would be underachieving. Wow. If he loses this one, he now enters underachieving category. Well, wait a minute. You can't flip-flop according to Keon and some of these other guys in here. You're right, though, Tone. Look how fast this could turn on him. Every game he wins in the regular season, every new pelt he puts on the wall brings him closer to greatness or to the category of starting to be an underachiever in the postseason. Jim Kelly, Elway. How many people think Elway over or underachieved in his postseason career? How many people think he over or underachieved? John Elway. Vlad goes he overachieved being 2-3 in Super Bowls. Interesting. So you think a quarterback that's 2-3 in Super Bowls overachieved in the postseason when Marino blew him out every time he played him. Interesting. NFC Championship or better, he doesn't have to win it. Burrow still doesn't have a ring. If he makes it back to final 2 games, he's still top 3. For a guy like Elway, he underachieved. Tone's correct. Elway finally won a Super Bowl. Again, we're talking about, all I hear about is people telling me all these, hey, every time I listen to Rob's not wrong, by the way. Dirty goes, I think Elway overachieved 2 and 3 in the Super Bowls. Okay. How can you be considered the greatest quarterback of all time and you're 2 and 3 in the most important game of all time? Explain that to me. How can you be considered one of the greatest players in the game, in the most important game that league has, and you're under 500? How? I personally think Elway was more talented than Marino, but he went a better quarterback than Marino. You want to hear something what makes Montana so insane? He had Rice. No question. Who else did he have? Not one guy in the O-line's in the Hall of Fame. Not one running back's in the Hall of Fame. No tight ends in the Hall of Fame. It was 2 dudes. And a bunch of really good players. There were no Hall of Famers on that team, but 2 dudes. Rice. And in the first one, he didn't have Rice. I said overrated, Sills. Give me my $2. I got it. All right. Hey, you got to remember something. He won a Super Bowl without Jerry Rice. He had Henry Cooper, Wendell Tyler, Freddie Solomon, and no O-line. When they beat the Bengals in that Super Bowl in Detroit, still to this day the highest rated game for Super Bowls of all time. You know that? That game is still the highest rated Super Bowl of all time. And Montana had nobody except Joe. Had no Rice. And won a Super Bowl. There ain't no A.J. Browns on that team. Or Devontae Smiths. It was just Joe Montana. Roger Craig wasn't on that team. Wendell Tyler was the running back. Nobody. Hurts needs that Super Bowl. He needs the Super Bowl. Got to have it. Or you start to land into the island of underachieving. And you start to get into the category where the Bills and the Broncos were for a bit. Every time they got to the big game, they got beat. Now, this changes with the win. I'm talking about where Hurts is right now and why he's the most underrated player in the game. Because of what I'm saying here. I still think people go into each week saying, this is the week. This is the week. This is the week that the Eagles are going to lose. This is the week. I believe that. Okay. Let's move. Hurts needs this more than Shanahan. Shanahan has the golden name. And he's NFL royalty. He's not losing his job. Hurts is not NFL royalty yet. NFL royalty is first round, name recognition, fan appeal. Personally, I'll take that back. Media appeal. Jaylen Hurts is the ultimate blue-collar quarterback, and he appeals to blue-collar America, which means he actually probably, if covered correctly, probably appeals to more people in the football world than what people are reporting. You realize that he's not covered correctly. You know that, right? You know Jaylen Hurts is not covered fairly or appropriately. What did we learn from the Dak Prescott performance against the Eagles? Did Josh Allen lose or win that game? Who do you blame, the coach or Josh Allen? It wasn't anything to do with Hurts or the Eagle performance in the fourth quarter, manning up like bulldogs and winning that game. It had everything to do with why other teams lost to the Eagles. And nothing about the guile, the grit, the tenacity, all things that are blue-collar America. You see, the problem with our media today, truly, politically and sports-wise, they think America's California and New York and don't realize, and this is what Trump realized, the heartland is the football fan. The center of America in the South is the big cities like big football cities like Buffalo, Philly, Chicago. That's the heart of football. What are those cities known for? Blue-collar Americans. Sports media doesn't cover blue-collar correctly. Hardworking, underdogs. They don't want to cover that. Jaylen Hurts is not covered fairly. And that's why he's the most underrated player in the NFL. He's just not covered fairly. Because, God forbid, this guy wins this Super Bowl. Do you think they'll make him the face of the league? Not a chance. Is Jaylen Hurts not Cam Newton 2015 and Dak Carson Palmer 2015? Palmer had better numbers, but Newton won more and had more rushing TDs. Cam Newton did something that I'll say here, and I hope I don't offend anybody. Cam Newton, Tone, correct me if I'm wrong here. Cam Newton whited himself up a bit. And what do I mean by that? He made himself more acceptable to white advertisers and white media people to win the MVP. That's why he was more endeared. I love Cam Newton. I love his style. I've never seen a dude in a cummerbund make it work. I'm sorry, man. I've never seen a dude in a cummerbund make it work. Oh, I'm a gigantic Cam Newton fan. I love Cam. One of the most polarizing. He's almost like Iverson in so many ways. You literally say the shit no one else will. Andrew, as my aunt and my wife will tell you, that's part of the problem of my broadcasting career. The fanny pack, I don't know. I don't know about the fanny pack. Cam admits it. He made it a point to keep his image clean early on. What Tone is telling you, he means white. And for Tone not to, come on, Tone. After a certain point, he stopped caring and began to play the game he wanted to play. Yeah. That's a guy who knows where he is and who he is. Yeah. The man purses and all that, I don't know. But the cummerbund, I've never seen a guy make it work. Hey, the pimp hats, man, I love that guy. See, I love outrageous. I love outrageous. And Cam Newton to me, man, dude, I love that guy. That's why I'm an Iverson's Iverson's probably one of my favorite athletes in the history of sports. I love Allen Iverson. I love the whole freaking story. Guy signing his scholarship to Georgetown in prison. Okay. How many people do you think sign scholarships in jail? I can't. To Georgetown. We're not talking about VMI, or we're not talking about Davidson here. Okay, we're talking about Georgetown. Like Bill Clinton went there. Right? Love AI, man. Love him. I'm more impressed with Ben Carson. Like Ben, man. All right. How do you beat the 49ers and how do you beat the Eagles? Top 10 NFL teams, quarterbacks, MVP race. We got a ton of stuff to come on to here today because yesterday, and by the way, I want to say it one more time. Thank you guys so much for the get well wishes. Oh, yes, and that's right, Tone. Guys, do me a favor. You get to qualify each and every single day to Friday. A name will be called out on Monday. All you have to do is send us your information. Tone's going to throw out the Hooters code word of the day. You send it to dansilioshow@gmail.com. You give it to us, and we will announce a winner on a football Monday for your shot to win yourself a gift certificate and some merchandise. Very simple. I love the Black Knights jersey, Dan. Very cool. Yeah, Gary Cobb's High School. That's Gary Cobb's High School. Do you know Mike? What was his name? It used to be the Green Bay Packer coach. Mike Sherman? Mike Sherman coached here. I think he coached right after Holmgren, but he coached here. Craig Bingham played with the Steelers, played at this school. My dad went to this school, believe it or not. I went to Stanford Catholic, and they consolidated the Catholic schools in the area. But my high school was legendary with all the state championships and city championships and all the all-staters that were from that school. I played with 3 NFL. Get this. Hey, Tone, guys, you'll love this. In my 4 years, we had 3 NFL players and I think 25 Division I college football players on a team that only fielded 33 players a year. We had to play both ways, but we were recruited. Okay, and we would take on schools like Greenwich. I played high school ball against Steve Young. Yeah, Steve Young was playing at Greenwich when I was chasing his ass around. Isn't that crazy? I'm playing with 3 NFL guys, including myself, and I'm playing against Steve Young. And there were like 4 or 5 guys on that Greenwich team that were NFL dudes. Ken Bell went to Boston College, and then I think he went to the Broncos. Yeah, I played high school ball against Steve Young. I didn't think Steve Young was a great quarterback. I thought he was a brilliant runner. That guy ran 4 3s, 4 4s. You'd be shocked how fast he was. Okay, I think in 4 years we only tied him. Greenwich always beat us by a point, a kick, something stupid. Yep, Steve Young and his brother Mike too, Takeem. His brother Mike played my senior year. We played against him my senior year. He also went on to BYU and quarterback BYU. So both young boys quarterback Greenwich High School. I think Tiki Barber's son went and played ball there, and I think what's his name? Frank Gifford's son also played at Greenwich, if I'm not mistaken. Connecticut High School football. Yeah, the home of Aaron Hernandez. Hey, the home of Aaron Hernandez. He's one of the greatest high school football players in Connecticut history. That's a fact. I think he was a 2-time All-Stater. Mike Golick's kid went there, and Mike Golick's kid was a Connecticut high school football guy. He's a 2-time All-Stater. I never got that. Okay, I was a 1-time All-Stater, and I'm like, come on, man. Big Sills? You got to be kidding me. This guy was a two-time and I wasn't. Steve Young never made, I think Steve Young was an all-stater too. Anyway, how do you beat the 49ers? And how do you beat the Eagles? We're going to do that next. Top 10 NFL teams, top 10 quarterbacks. Tone's going to join us at 3:30. Do me a favor, guys. Purdy Wings on Sunday, Hassan style. I can't believe all the Niner fans, before we get to our time out here. Guys, stop crying about Purdy getting knocked out of the game. It was a football play. He crushed him. You suck defending your quarterback, which you've always sucked, Kyle. And you got your QB killed. It's part of football, dude. Yeah, but if our quarterback would have been held, now you sound like Bayless. There's no what ifs in football. Do you get that? There's no such thing as what ifs in football. What if? What if this happened? Every analyst I hear when he goes into that, I know immediately he's a guy that changes. He's a guy that believes the election was stolen. Yeah. We have defeat deniers or eagle deniers. Maybe that's it. Eagle deniers. Eagle deniers. You're being called the most fraudulent 10-1 team in the NFL. I'm sorry that makes me laugh. You're a fraudulent 10-1 team. Hey, you know what I wish I could be? I wish I could be a bullshit artist like Keon or some of you other guys in here. I wish I could be a great bullshit artist like Keon. I can't do it, though, because I'm not very good at it. Keon's great at it. He's a great bullshit artist. He'll tell you whatever he wants you to believe and make you think it's real. And this guy's got just as good as him. Okay? Yeah, Keon's a great bullshit artist. This guy's got a better resume than him. You know he does. Fraudulent 10-1 team. That's a new one. He couldn't help himself. They're the fraudulent team. Okay? Dan, would you put Kevin Byard on Kittle? We're going to get to that. Okay? We're going to get to that. Let's see here. Matt says Jaylen has a better resume than Allen. Yeah. Brady has a better resume than Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Rodgers a better talent. Brady the better resume. Yeah. Allen the better talent. Jaylen the better resume. Yeah. Thank you. You solidified that. Don't forget our good friends. Last week of Happy Wings Giving. That's right. All month of November, Hooters has been giving a special out each and every single day, like Cold Coors Light drafts, $2.99. 25 cents of every purchase goes to a local charity. The 2024 calendars are out. 9 of the girls are featured from the Northeast area, from Rhode Island all the way down through King of Prussia. NortheastTutors.com. Some of the best specials: seafood Sundays, half price, snow crabs, buffalo shrimp. Tuesdays, buy 10 wings, get 10 free. Wing Wednesdays, 1983, the year the place was founded, all you can eat, and kids eat for free on Saturdays. That's NortheastTutors.com. NortheastTutors.com. And do me a favor, when you roll in, tell them Big Sil sent you.
football and Hooters, the perfect pair.